our inline roller class through inclusive skating. So remember, we're going to start off with our usual warm-up. If those of you that have been logging onto this live class, you'll know this warm-up by now. I know some of you do it before you get your skates on because it takes a little while longer to get those on, and that's absolutely fine if you've done this warm-up before. It is, as I say, it's really important. Some of the exercises we do as well, remember, are linked into some of the exercises that we do. And you can do these exercises either, you can do them sat in the chair, or you can do them standing up. If you've already got your skates on, just be careful. Make sure you're holding on to something. Some of the exercises will be easier than the others. But we just keep the same warm-up, okay? So we're just going to point and flex our toe. So we're going to do 5. It's really important to loosen the ankles up before you put your skates on, because obviously, because your skates are quite tight, okay, it's a bit more difficult to manoeuvre your ankles around once they're on, because they do offer that support which we need. So we're going to do circles with our toes. So we're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So again, you can do this sat in a chair if you want to. It's fine, or you can hold on to something. You don't have to do it freestanding. Okay, so that's our ankles stretched out. All right, so we're going to do the calf stretch now. So remember to bend your knees, and it's just like taking one step forward, but you're not going to lift the heel off the floor. If I turn sideways, look, I'm pushing my heel down, pushing my hips forward, okay, and bending that front knee, and you'll feel that gentle stretch. And as I always say, it shouldn't hurt, but you should feel that nice stretch on your calf, okay? And then you can bend, and I'll do it the other way. So I'm just bending my knees, look, taking one step forward and then straightening the back leg, keeping your heel on the floor and your feet facing forward. That's really important, otherwise this won't work. And just stretch it out. That's it, good. Okay, so give yourself a shake. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to do our hips from side to side. So you're going to push right out to each side. That's it. And make sure that you're really stretching and pushing those hips. Perfect. So we're going to do the circular one now. Okay, so we're just going to do circles with the hips one way. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to go the other way. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, so then we're going to do the one where we twist. Now remember, when we do the twist one, we do this on the skates, and this is on all of the programs, so whether you're doing program 1, 2 or 3. So it's really important. And again, you can do this sat in your chair. If you're able to twist, you can sit in your chair and you can twist to the side. So you can just do quarter a turn if you feel that's enough. Bend, and again, this one is on program 1. So just getting used to you standing and just getting that twist, okay? And you can still twist, okay, to one side and then the other side. And again, we do that later on a lot of the skating skills. If you feel comfortable doing it standing still, I'm going to try and bend our knees a little bit. I'm going to try and turn, look all the way back behind us. So you're really feeling your shoulder pulling back. Keep your shoulders level, but keep pulling back and then face the front. Again, if you get dizzy on this, it's okay. Just have a little break in between. So you're going to bend and twist and try and look all the way back, pull your shoulder. If you want to just go to a quarter, so from the front to the side, that's fine. And again, you can do that one sat in the chair, holding on to somebody, okay, holding on to something, or you can do that one freestanding, okay? So what we're going to do now, we're just going to pull these shoulders up. So pull your shoulders right up to your ears and push them right down as far as you can. So right up and down, up and then down, up and then down, up and then down, okay? And then you're going to start to roll the shoulders. So we're going to roll the shoulders back for 5. And then we're going to go forward. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so then just make sure, because I know the other day I went to do this one and hit the light fitting, so I was going to check. I've got a lot of room, so I'm going to do your arms. You can do both at the same time, so like you're swimming backwards, Okay, just loosening the upper body up a little bit and getting these arms warmed up. So then I'm going to go forward, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we're just going to warm up the neck and we're just going to loosen the head a little bit. So chin on your chest, and then push back. Feel that stretch down the front. And push down and right back. Push down and right back. And push down and right back. And one more. Okay, so good. So give yourselves a shake out. I'm just going to turn that other light on, it's getting quite dark. Okay, so I'm going to get my skates on now. Now just remember, I think it was on class 1, 2, I said about checking your skates. Just make sure, because after a while your wheels do get clogged up with dust and hairs, and it's really important to make sure that your wheels are nice and clean and nice and smooth. I have read up, and the easiest way is to you get like a little key that unlocks the wheels, and you can take the wheels out and you can give them a wash, and it is better to just wash them in like soap and water, so like any washing up type liquid. It isn't a good idea to use anything like WD-40 because there are bearings inside the wheels and eventually they'll just seize up, and you wouldn't think that, but it does happen. So just make sure that you check your wheels and that they're nice and clean and not all getting all clogged up, because they will do eventually, and it will need just undoing them. And the instructions that you would have got with the skates, they'll tell you how to do that. It's like a lock and key that fits in. So just make sure you keep them nice and clean, and make sure you just look into, because I would have thought every manufacturer of different skates will tell you different things on how to clean them and whatever. So just make sure you follow your instructions. As I say with mine, it just says just a bit of hot water and some washing up liquid and give them a good wash. Make sure they're nice and dry. Don't use them again until they're really dry, because remember it can get really slippy. So I'm just going to get my chair, okay, and get my skates on. Alright, so make sure if shoes to one side, if you want to put your safety equipment on, so your helmet, your wrist guards, your knee pads and your elbow pads, probably best to do that before you put your skates on. Okay, so again on programme 1, one of the things that is on that is just sitting in your chair and putting a pair of skates on your feet and just getting the feel for the skates. Okay, so we're going to tighten these up. Okay, so just make sure you take your time. As I say, I know some of you have already got your skates on because it takes a bit longer to get them on, but just make sure that they're nice and tight and secure and ready to go. All right, just make sure. I know that obviously we're still in lockdown, so we're still restricted to space. I've sort of turned around today to try and see if it's better, and I've got a bit more width here to do a bit more today. So, but just make sure, because I've turned everything around, I've gone over everything today to check where other things are and obstacles that I wouldn't normally come across. So, okay, so make sure these skates are nice and tight. So, remember, only do what's to your ability. Don't push yourself too far. Everything that we do is adaptable. Okay, so I've got my skates on. So remember, when you stand up, okay, put your toe in and stand up. It's much easier then. Hold my foot. Okay, all right, so we're going to get started. So we're going to go through everything again. I'm going to try and pick out bits from all of the programmes, because what I've tried to do is do a little bit from each, and then I know a couple of classes we focus more on programme 3 because of people progressing, and I'll try and, when I do a certain level or one programme and another, I'll try and tell you which program that's in and how you can adapt it to the different programs and the different levels. Okay, so as usual, we're going to start off with just your penguin walking. Okay, and we're going to just try and give yourself a little bit of room. I know it's difficult, especially because today they've given rainy weather out, so a lot of you can't get outside. So remember your penguin stance. Who's been watching and keeping up with the videos and on YouTube, you all should know what penguin stance is by now. So you're going to bend our knees, and again, if you feel a bit strange doing this, you can hold onto a chair or hold onto somebody's hand. So this is the penguin walk. Remember, you will, as you can see, my wheels will move a little bit. So if you want to hold on to somebody's hand, that's fine. To stop, remember, if some of the stops that we've done over the last few weeks are not possible yet, that's fine. You can just glide on your wheels until you come to a standstill. Just remember to give yourself a little bit of space, so you're not waiting until you get right there before you stop. It's a bit like for those ice skaters out there, you wouldn't wait and hit the barrier before you think about stopping. You do start to prepare for that a little bit before. So if you feel like you want to progress on from the penguin walking, remember we can do the push the toe forward and glide on 2 feet. And again, the glide on 2 feet on all the programs at varying speeds and lengths. And again, so you don't have to go too far before you stop. Remember again, I know some of you have been doing this in your living room when you're on a carpet, so that will slow you down. The smoother the surface, obviously, the faster that you'll go. And I say, because it's raining today, you've got to be really, really careful. You don't want any water on the surfaces. Okay, so what I'm going to do now then, I'm going to try and glide, and then onto 2 feet. Turn my foot out, look, glide, and onto 2 feet. So remember, when you are turning your feet out, you can try this in your penguin stances, bend your knees. It's a bit like a plie in ballet. Okay, and what you can do is tip the side of your foot over. So you don't want to go as far as you would on the ice, on your wheels, because they will slip. So you're just going to push off, and that's a good way to start and close. Now, if you wanted to, you can practice this holding onto a chair. Okay, so you can hold onto the chair. Okay, and you can practice just that push and bend. Yeah, turning out, look, push. Okay. So it is obviously, if you've got a high back chair, it's probably a little bit easy because this one's a little bit low. You can just get used to that turning out feeling, tipping it over the foot and then pushing off. Again, very similar to on ice skating blade for those of you that ice skate. Okay, but not quite as far. So penguin stance again, arms out, keep your tummy up straight, look forward. We're going to bend, we're going to glide. If you want to do the forward stroking, that's fine. Again, remember to give yourself time to do the stop. Okay, you don't want to leave it too late. I know that once I'm level with this doorway that I need to stop. Okay, so I'm going to have gone too far. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're just going to practice the look left and look right. So I've got my skates on, so you can stand in your penguin stance again and bend your knees if you feel more sturdy. If you want to keep your wheels straight, it might be a good idea to hold on to somebody or hold on to the chair. Okay, you can do it without, but your wheels will move slightly. So you're going to just rotate a quarter of a turn, and this is on program 1. And if you're sat in your chair, okay, you can do this one as well. And it just gets used to do it nice and slowly. I know some people lose the balance. Okay, nice and steady. And eventually you'll do this from moving, okay? So that's just the rotating a quarter of a turn, and that is on program 1, one of the badges, okay? So just going to practice again then. We're going to do forward skating. Now remember, you can do penguin walking, you can do the glide and then onto 2 feet, or you can do your forward stroking. So any of those are fine. Just do it to your capability and your level. And don't worry if you're not going fast enough, it doesn't matter, just go at your speed. And what I want you to do is, once you've got going, is just stand on 2 feet, let your wheels roll, and see if we can come to a standstill. So we're pushing, bend my knees until I come to a standstill. There we go. Okay, again, just make sure that you're giving yourself that room that you need, and you'll get to know, if you're using a regular space, you'll get to know how long it takes to get across the room, like how many forward pushes that you need if you're doing it in a regular space. Obviously, if you're outdoors and you've got an open space, you know, it's much easier and you can give yourself a bit more room to think about it. But obviously, because of all this rain, yucky weather, we're probably all indoors and you've all got smaller space, so that's what we're going to have to try and adapt to. So I'm just going to have one more go at the glide on 2 feet and hold. Okay, if you feel like you're not ready yet to do the glide and roll, you can just bend your knees and get used to the knee dip. Again, that's on badge 6 on program 1. Okay, just standing and getting used to it, because obviously when you've got skates on, they're quite tight around the ankles. That's how they should be, to support the ankles. And it does feel strange when you want to bend your knees, because obviously you have to push those ankles forward. So if I stand to the side, look, really pushing those ankles onto the front of my skates. My skates are quite tight, so you can feel a bit of pressure there to bend. So this is not as easy as it looks. So again, you can hold onto a chair, hold on to somebody that's with you, or you can hold onto the side and just practice getting the feel of those ankles pushing forward onto those skates. Because in skating, whether you're on lower levels or higher levels, it's all about knee bend, whether you're on ice or on roller. So it's a really good idea when you're starting off on these basic levels to get used to doing that knee bend. So what we're going to do, okay, we're going to try that on the movement. If you want to do it standing still, that's fine. So I'm going to do forward stroking, and then I'm just going to bend and roll until I come to a stop. Okay, so that again will come later on with the twist, and we'll do that later on. That's on one of the higher levels. All right, so remember, if you feel like you can't do the turn and you want to turn around and do it going back rather than keep going backwards and forwards, if you're not comfortable with turning on one leg or on the 2-foot turn, you can just do your stepping around. That's absolutely fine. Skate forward, slide on 2 feet till you stop, and then you can gently step around. Again, just keep your feet slightly turned out. If you keep your wheels straight, they're more likely to roll from underneath you. Okay? So glide nice and steady, roll till you stop, and then you can do the stepping around. Okay? Glide till you stop, and then you can do your stepping around. Okay? So again, that's on, the stepping around is on program 2, and it's on badge 4. So that's a good one to practice. And again, remember to check out which ones, you know, for your ability. And remember your limitations, and don't try new tricks and things until you followed instructions and looked into how to do it and followed it, and break it down. Remember, everything breaks down to the same thing. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to have a go at marching backwards. Okay, so we've done a little bit of forward. So remember, when we're doing this backwards, okay, it's really important that you keep your chest and your chin just slightly forward and those arms in a V, slightly in front of you. Okay, you don't want to lean backwards. Remember, on roller skates, I know some people have only got 3 wheels, some people are on quads, and some people are on the same ones I've got. I know certainly if I go on, remember that next to the last wheel and the last one, if I go back, tends to go from underneath you, more than an ice skating blade, to be honest. So just be careful. Again, if you want to hold onto a chair and just do stepping, holding onto a chair, that's absolutely fine, so you don't move anywhere. What you will find, especially if you're on the ones like me, because my wheels are on a slight rocker, they're not perfectly flat. If I lift my heel slightly and press on the bottom, my feet will move backwards anyway. So just be aware of that, okay? So we start with the toes together, Bend your knees, keep that chest and chin slightly forward. Try not to be tempted to look down, and just start to lift your toes. Just nice, gentle, and you're transferring your weight just a little bit. And as you can see, without doing anything else, I'm starting to roll backwards. Yeah, and if you're on the roller skates where the wheels are perfectly flat, you might find you won't roll as much. So if I do it very flat-footed, you will roll a little bit, but not quite as much as if you're on the ones that are on a slight rocker, which are more, I suppose, related to an ice skating blade. Okay, so that's the backwards marching. So if we just have a little practice at that, you can feel your wheels starting to move. And again, this is a good one for someone to hold your hand. They can walk in front of you, holding your hands whilst you're travelling backwards. And they can control your speed a little bit. But again, if you just want to hold on to something, you can just practice the position. It does feel quite strange. And you can practice just lifting the feet and just getting used to that position. Okay, so from that then we're going to go on to a backward push and glide onto your feet. Okay, so we start off the same, okay, as we would for backward marching. So the toes together, okay, heels apart. We've got that knee bend, core muscles in your tummy up nice and straight, arms in your V, chest and chin slightly forward. So what you're going to do, you can push, you can either do it like a V, okay, and then glide onto your feet and bring your feet together, okay, so you can do it like this, okay. Another way of doing it as well is like doing what I call a C-shaped push. So bend, so push with one foot and glide onto your feet. So this is transferring your weight a little bit more from one side to the other. Okay, so I'm not really taking my feet far off the floor at all. You see? So push, and that one's transferring your weight. If you feel that's a little bit too much, you can go back to this one, which is like half a backward swizzle, just till you've got a gap. Your weight's more in the middle, and then you can lift back in. So toes together, push out, and then back together. So just remember, guys, as well, when you're doing backwards, it's really important to check out your space behind you. Okay, if you've got somebody holding your hands and walking alongside you or in front of you, they can give you a shout. But if you're skating and you're sort of not holding on to anybody, just be aware. So you get to a certain point and you think, right, I need to bend. And you can do the 2-foot glide to stop. Again, just give yourself room. And that's just that basic knee bend, okay? Body up nice and straight, don't lean back in your glide, but you need to give yourself that little bit more room, okay? So that's the backwards. Try it again. That's it, arms out, hands on 2 feet, okay? So, if we have a go at, we'll do some forward swizzles, and then we'll have a go at some backward swizzles. So we'll start off with the forward swizzles. So we're going to start off with the penguin stance and that knee bend. And again, if you feel like you don't want to go onto this yet, that's absolutely fine. You can practice this holding onto the chair or somebody's hand just going out, forward and back. Okay, and that feels quite easy. And your weight's right in the centre on this, so you're not having to transfer your weight from one side to the other on this one. Okay, so if I go back, so I'm going to start with the forward ones. So into penguin stance, I'm going to bend my knees, and I'm going to do the forward swizzle. If you want to do a forward swizzle, glide on 2 feet, that's absolutely fine. Okay, and that will give you a bit of time in between each swizzle to prepare for the next one. So when you go back doing the backward ones, okay, if it's taken you 2 swizzles to get here, it'll be the same going back. So you're going to bend your knees. Okay, keep that chest and that chin slightly forward. You're going to push out, and again you can do glide on 2 feet, push out and glide on 2 feet till you come to a stop. Okay, so if you want to continue with that one, that's fine, or you can do the continuous ones. Okay, so this the feet are just going out and in, then straight back out and in. And again on this, my weight is just in the middle. I'm not having to transfer my weight. Okay, and again, depending on space, I can sort of get, probably you could get 3 in safely, and then roll, yeah, and then 3, 2, and 3. Okay, just remember when you're going backwards on your wheels as well, there is that quite high heel lift. If you lift too high, you will feel like you're going to go forward and you might have a little panic. Don't panic, because if you've got to stop it on the front, it will stop you, look, but it's quite a long way. If you see me on my tiptoes, before you, it isn't like a toe pick on the ice where you hit almost straight away going backwards, which will slow you down or stop you. On your wheels, it is quite a big lift. Okay, so that's the forward and backward swizzles. Again, you can adapt. You can, if you feel that that's a little bit too intense and you want to go back to doing your marching, walking, just remember all these basic things. You can always do it holding on to, you can do it sat in your chair, you can try the twisting. There's lots and lots of different things and ways of adapting. Okay, so the forward swizzles, you need, it says 5 in a row, that's on program 3, badge 2, but obviously space, if you're indoors, you know, a couple would be acceptable, or you could just turn and go round. So what we're going to do now, we'll do that bit now, we'll do the rotate. So we're going to skate forward, so you can do your marching, and I'm just going to rotate the body and hold in this position, just so that you get used to it. Step around if you want to, and bend, and then rotate. Okay, so again, you can hold on to somebody. If you feel you want to just rotate a little bit, that's fine. If you feel you can go all the way and look over that shoulder, that's also fine. Because eventually this will lead into the 2-foot glide and turn. So if I bend, look, and I twist, I'll go round to my left, okay, and back, I bend, and I twist, I'll go round to my right. Okay, so if you were doing your swizzles, eventually, when you feel comfortable, and if you need a little bit of width, you could do your swizzles, yeah, 2-foot knee bend round, and then you could do them go back up, 2, around, swizzles, bend and around, so swizzles, bend and twist around, and you can do it that way. And then we can change direction. Again, if you just want to do them go forward and back, that's fine. Yeah, so if you see I'm going off to the side a little bit, bend and twisting around. Yeah, bend and twisting around. Okay, so as you can see, we can start to link things together to progress and keep things going, keep things continuous. So if you haven't always got that space, again, it depends on width as well, but you can do that. If you want to do that 2-foot glide just in a circle, remember you can do the 1-foot swizzle. So if we are going round anti-clockwise, so round to the left, remember you need to lead with that right arm, left arm back, and you can just do a 1-foot swizzle. And that will take you round in a circle. Now what I do is I push my left hip forward, but I also pull my right shoulder forward. And I feel this twist here. Okay, and then eventually you can either stand on 2 feet and get the 2-foot glide on a curve. Yeah, okay. I'll just do it again the other way. So this is clockwise. So now I'm pulling my right shoulder back, my left one forward, pushing my right hip, and I'm going round clockwise. And I'm just doing like putting, so bending my knees on 2 feet, look, pushing out. And obviously, the harder you push, and if you get a slight tip of that ankle, okay, as you're going out, you'll find you'll go faster. If you feel like you're going too fast, try not to panic and just stand on 2 feet. Just do the 2-foot knee bend and the 2-foot glide. Okay? So that's all you need to do to slow down. So whatever you're doing, you don't need to worry about those stops. If you've got the space, just bend your knees, 2-foot glide, top half chin, chest, slightly forward, and then that'll keep you balanced, and that's a good one to do for that. Okay, so we've had a go at the forward swizzles, backward swizzles. We're having a real good mix up today. We've had a go at the glide on 2 feet and the 2 foot turns. We've had a go at the rotate. We've had a go at the forward, backward swizzles. We've had a go at the 1 foot swizzles. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a go at, let's have a go at the glide, 2 foot glide and dip. Okay, so this is on program 3, badge number 4. So again, if it's on a different program to what you're doing, don't worry. You can just do, so for instance, you can just do the knee dips. Okay, they're on program 1, and it starts with the knee dip, and then you're just going to reach forward anyway and bend. And you can go down as low as you want. Remember, I don't know if you noticed that I've gone too far forward, so I'm on my tiptoes. So if you want to hold onto a chair or hold onto the side, yeah, and then, so remember, you really do have to push those ankles forward onto those boots. Pull your chest and your chin forward and hold, and then up you get. So if you want to try this first, holding onto somebody or the side or your chin, it's a really good idea. And again, the knee bend 1 on 2 feet anyway is on program 1, it's on program 2. So you can adapt it to your level and your ability. It's absolutely fine. So if I go just back here a little bit and skate forward, glide on 2 feet, and then I'm going to bend. Okay? So this is a bit tricky if you've not got much room. You have to do it pretty quick, as in, so a couple of quick steps, glide on 2 feet, and then just bend. If you can't get all the way down, it's fine, don't worry. So again, space is a little bit limited. Okay? So that's the glide and dip, and that's one that's good fun to practice. All you've got to make sure is that as you're going down, make sure you reach these arms forward. Don't put them on and hold your skates, because you don't want to get your fingers caught. Okay, so it's better to reach forward, and that helps keep the chest and the chin forward over the knee, so it's much easier to get down. You don't want to lean back when you do this one, because again, if you go on that back wheel, you'll find that your feet will just go a little bit from underneath you. Okay, so what we're going to have a go at now, we're going to have a go at the stops. So we're going to have a quick go at snowplow, and I know I keep doing T-stop, but that's another good one to practice as well. You can practice both. Again, if you feel like you're not ready for these stops, you can do them sat in a chair. You can practice just sat, pushing your feet into this position. Obviously, if you're in your chair, the T-stop one's a bit of a, I know when it's a bit tricky. You can hold on to the chair though and try the T-stop. So if I stand here, I'm going to put my feet slightly apart and bend. Okay, so this is the start of the snowplow, and then what I'm going to do is just push my toes together as if they're coming in together and my heels out. So it's a bit like doing a forward swizzle. Okay, and again, you can just practice this holding onto a chair. You don't need any space to practice this holding onto a chair, but feet slightly apart, bend my knees, I get my balance, and then push out and stop. So my feet are doing this. Okay, I do it going back, so bend and push. Okay, it does feel a bit different to those that ice skate, because obviously on ice skates we glide across the ice and we keep going as we push the feet out. So on this snowplow stop on rollers, it's a bit more of a sudden stop. So it's really important that you do that first bit where you bend your knees and glide, and then push the heels out when it's time to stop. Okay, because you're not going to get that glide. Okay, so again, you can practice that holding onto a chair, and remember, you can do that with 1 foot as well. So if you're not comfortable with both feet, okay, what you can do, skate forward, bend your knees, start to rotate the body, so the quarter of a turn, and then you can push the front foot forward. So you can do that left or right. Okay, so pushing, bending, do a quarter of a turn, and then I can stop, whoop, and a wobble. Okay, I find that one a bit more difficult than 2, because I think you have to transfer your weight a little bit more. Okay, but again, it's worth the practice. So that's the snowplow stop. So we'll have a go at the T-stop now, okay? And remember, I know a lot of you are improving, so you need to be able to do these stops, okay? So the T-stop is just literally what it says, so feet into a T, okay, here. And again, you can hold onto a chair and just practice pulling your wheels into that T position. Now, when you do this, remember that all your weight stays on that foot that's in front. The one that turns out at the back, it's just nice and light coming in. Okay, you don't have to press really hard on that back leg. If you do, you'll find you'll spin around. All right, so again, you can do this with one push towards a chair or something that you can hold on to, or you can do that mixed in with your forward skating, whichever forward skating you decide to do. But just remember to do the 2 foot glide on the wheels, transfer your weight, and then you're going to pull it to stop. So on this one, whereas the snowplow stop, your weight is in the middle, yeah, so it's on both feet equally, unless you're doing the 1 foot. So if you're doing both feet, on the T-stop, you do have to transfer your weight onto that skating leg a little bit. Not a lot, and you don't have to lift the foot off a long way. Just a little bit and in. Okay, so pushing along, nice and steady, bend, transfer my weight, and I'm pulling. So that's the T-stop. So again, whatever program you've chosen, whatever tier you're doing, whatever level, it's important to try and start to practice those stops. Have a little go, whether it's the 2 foot glide till you stop, the snow plough, both feet, snow plough 1 foot, or you can have a go at the T-stop. Okay, so that's all the basics. So what we're going to do now, we're going to have a go at the 2 foot jump. Okay, so again, this comes from the knee bend. Okay, so again, knee dips are on program 1. If you want to just do the knee dips, that's fine. If you want to hold onto the chair to practice the 2 foot jump, that's fine. Now, when you do this, whatever you do, don't lean backwards. All right, so you want to bend, keep your chin and your chest slightly forward. When it's time to jump, you can drop your arms, bring them to your chest, and then push them forward like this. So you can practice this. So jump and out. Okay, so drop your arms, push through, and if you're holding on to somebody, you can just keep your arms there, and they can help keep your weight a little bit forward. So it's a really good idea to practice this standing still. All right, so we're going to skate forward, and we're going to jump. Okay, so when we do this, don't jump too high. You don't want, it's just a little jump. You don't want to go too high. Okay, you just want to go nice and steady, but whatever you do, make sure you do practice this holding on to something or somebody before you actually go and do it moving or skating, because it is quite tricky and it takes a bit of practice. You're not going to do it straight away. Bend and jump. Okay, so again, you don't need to jump too high or too far, and just do it to your ability. If you want to just do it standing still, that's absolutely fine. So that is on program 2, I think. 2, yeah. But you can look it up. You can look on the Inclusive website and have a look at all those levels and badges and what levels they're on. So it's a really good idea to have a look. So what we're going to do now, then, we're going to have a practice at the 1 foot glide. So remember, again, if you want to just do it standing still and getting used to transferring your weight, yeah, holding on to something or somebody, that's fine. Remember, when you lift your foot off the floor, it doesn't have to be too high, yeah? Just up to about your ankle and back down is fine. If you feel that you want to just tuck the foot in to the side, that's fine. If you want to turn out and extend back, that's also fine. Okay, so either. So what we're going to do first, we're just going to do the glide on one leg. You can do whatever skating you can do, your penguin walk, and then try and lift. You can do your glide, and then glide onto 2 feet. So you're transferring your weight, or you can do the forward straight in. Just make sure before you do the glide, you come back to the centre, the glide on 2 feet. Okay, here. Yeah, before you lift. Okay, and try and hold. And again, depending on how much room we've got, okay, so I can get a couple of pushes in before I hold the foot off, and then I glide on 2 feet to stop. So stepping around, gliding forward. Okay, so if you want to progress a little bit more and do it from the forward, yeah, and then the turn out, that's fine. Obviously, you're going to need a little bit more space. Hold, and then I think it's easier because your foot's already turned out on that. It's much easier to place the foot, hold behind, and do the T-stop. Okay, so that's from the forward stroking. So we'll have another practice. Forward stroking, and then glide, hold, and then stop. Okay, and once more, and you can try this on both legs. You will find that one leg will be stronger than the other, and that's fine, that's quite normal. And what you'll find as well is sometimes, you know, it is a good idea, remember, to still work on both sides, and you will always have one side that's a little bit stronger than the other, but it's a really good idea to practice both and take it in turns, which foot you glide on, which leg you skate on. And then eventually that 1 foot glide forward, you can start to do that backwards as well. So you could do your backwards and hold. Again, just make sure that you're aware of a point. Choose something that you know when you're level with it, you need to think about your stop and give yourself a little bit of room to stop. And again, look, so transfer my weight, glide, and stop. Okay, so that's today's class finished. Goes really quickly. So I think next week we'll try and focus on, we'll do some forward crossovers and things like that, and we'll try some of the 1 foot glide on the curves. I've tried to go back to some of the basic levels because it's really important to still go through them. Remember, everything links from one thing to another, and we will have a go at those crossovers next time because I know some of you have been doing those levels. And keep up the good work and keep watching. If you can't do this live class, remember you can look any of the classes up on YouTube and watch them on YouTube. And remember, it's lots of information, lots of other classes you can join in as well on the Inclusive website. So take a look and have a go. You know, there's choreography, there's stretching with ball. There's lots of other classes that you can do. So it's all great for when you return onto the ice or you stick with your inline skating, your roller skating. So well done, everybody, and I shall see you soon. So take care and stay safe. Bye, everybody.